I'd like to call to order the Town of Brusly Committee meeting for Monday, June 1st, 2026. Ms. Young, can you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United Republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Daigle.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Councilmember Totten.
Here.
Councilmember Schutz.
Here.
Councilmember Kershaw. Present. Attorney Acosta. Mayor Rhodes.
Here. Mr. Acosta is out of the country. I think he's in Scotland or something, so he'll be back Monday night. In your packet, we have the minutes for the regular meeting on May 11th, 2026. Rusty, thanks for holding that meeting. That was the one I had out of town. Any questions on that? I think, Fish, you had that one question. We'll talk about that for the term on the taxes and figure out what we're going to do there. Under the ad valorem tax we deferred. We just might have to change the terminology. So. Any other questions or comments on the minutes? All right, we'll have those for you next week. Committee reports, Public Works Committee, Public Works report for May. I'll read it real quick. Total rainfall, we had 10 events for 15.6 inches. No drainage issues were observed. 4 skate alarms at our wastewater lift stations. 0 out of compliance test results in the sewer treatment facility. Several catch basin washouts were repaired in Brusly Oak subdivision, Holleen Street, Horry, St. Mary. We cleared several ditches filled with leaves from the rain. New plants were planted at St. James Park signs. They finally got the Limna boat towed out for the town of Marthansville. We removed a rotted tree in the servitude on Landry Street. Upcoming Republic roadside free pickup will be the week of June 8th, which is next week, right? Yeah. And Flags and Alley 1 will fly through the July 4th weekend. Just one quick thing on the Public Works. Our total rainfall, we had that big rain event that Saturday, Friday or Saturday, I'm not sure. And our sewer system got overloaded. So we have one call of a toilet issue way in the back and one on St. Mary, I think. So we had a couple issues we're looking at that. The one in the back, I think we figured out what the problem was, but St. Mary, we got to do some research and engineering on that. But anyway, typical infiltration on a large rain event.
Scott, can I ask you the generator that's on the fuel station? What is it? Your portable generator there?
Portable?
Oh, that was just during all this rain in case we had another problem. I had it on standby.
Okay, so
We
it's
haven't used it.
running. Okay,
No, we're gonna bring it back over here.
okay, gotcha.
Any other questions on Public Works?
Mayor, how about the update on the punch list items? Work on that at all?
Yes, we reached out to Spinks, Toby actually reached out to him 2 weeks ago, I think, on the email he sent out. They said they're gonna get back there and do it. We called Toby off on doing inspections, showing up there just to say they didn't do anything. We're not gonna pay for that.
Good.
So Shane's gonna check daily when he goes back to see if they're out there working. We did talk to him, yesterday when the areas were down, or today?
Today.
And he said he would get out there and get it done, but he didn't give us a time frame. So to answer your question, we don't have a time frame and no, those items, a few of the items have been taken care of, but not all of them. So.
I think we're going to discuss that next. That's the change order job.
Well, it's on the street overlay. It's not on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes. So, but yeah, they are going to work on that punch list items. So we're still holding the pay. Oh yeah, and we're not going to pay until it's completed all the way done. So I think it's $200,000 somewhere in that range. So, all right. Next up, discuss change order number 1 on the street overlay project. So we did the overlay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had an engineer on site that sent us pictures of the base failure on Alene in a couple spots. So we took a lot more asphalt. We had to go down instead of 8 to 12 inches in a bunch of spots. The change order was to the tune of $7,728.84. That was due to the base failure on those spots as we pull the asphalt up. They do what do they call it, proof roll, where they roll it with a big truck full of equipment, heavy truck. And if it fails, then they gotta go deeper. So they did proof rolls in those spots, which caused us to have more asphalt. So we had to do patching there. So that's the change order in your packet. Adding $7,728.84 to the $200,000, give or take, $201,007. 7 cents.
And then there's the punch list item still remaining.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure, no, right. I don't know of anything else. I think all the, oh, they made a lot. So they made, say, what do we have? 4 or 5 driveways we took care of.
Oh, yeah, there was more than that.
Yeah.
But all of them would take care of.
Yeah, all the punch list items, except for North Boat, if I'm not mistaken, and we're gonna handle my
Right,
tax issue he's got.
And that manhole issue, I think was at the front end of Alene Street, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, they had to expand it wider to make it smoother, because the manhole sat up taller than what they were pouring, so they had to smooth it out a little bit. And they had a real bad failure on Live Oak Drive, where it almost went into the ditch. They had to put a wall of asphalt there.
Yeah.
To hold it in.
Yeah, our engineer and Shane and I walked all those spots, marked them all down, and I think they're pretty much done, right, except for the striping, and that's weather delayed.
Striping as well, that's correct.
And that striping's gonna be on Alene and Uncle Bo?
Just north of Bow.
Just
Just
north of
Uncle Bo.
What we might do, depending on next year's street overlay, we might get new striping on whatever street we decide, which we think is gonna be all in Florida's, but we might get them to stripe. I'll lean it back. We just didn't have it in the bid at the time. I think Toby forgot to put it in there or something, and it was too costly. So anyway, we'll have that change order in, for our meeting next week. And then, of course, the payout comes with it. You look at the payout, the total due will be $186,956.92. That's minus the 10%. We'll vote on that, Monday night, unless you guys have any questions. All right, planning and zoning. A review of your planning and zoning minutes. That's just for review in the packet. They had one item on there, which is what we're about to talk about. Discuss rezoning request from C1 light commercial to R1 single family residential 207 Jones Drive for Lyle Charles Torres and Deborah Jones Torres. You get the map plans from now. It's not what I do. Everybody should have the map in the packet. So if you look at your map, lot B2, which is the front map, you're looking to change it from C1 to R1, correct? To build a house?
Just the half of,
Yeah, just the front half there.
it's just one half.
So if you look at the map that's provided, there's a circle around it, and that square is what we're looking at, changing to R1. And your plan is to build a house or put a house there?
One house.
The back part will stay C1 as it stands, and right now there's storage buildings in the back part. The rezoning has been advertised properly, run through planning and zoning, and so they approved it favorably to come to us. Any questions?
Just a comment, I know one of the things that was mentioned the first time that we heard about this was drainage. And is there any provisions there currently for drainage?
There's no drainage issues right now.
But there's no slab on it yet. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I know. And when we do that, when we're digging for everything else and putting in the culvert for the driveway, we want to go ahead and clean that ditch out. And so make sure it drains all the way to the back.
Where does that water drain today? Do you know?
Right now, it drains back, and Shane's working on that right now, because the only drainage issue we have is when it drains over, it goes across where the little roadway is, And then it drains down to the ditch that's back there behind St. Mary and Courtney Estates.
Okay, so actually, the beginning of the Tonton River. So it drains to that ditch.
Mhm.
That's typical right of the way Brusly drains.
It all goes that way.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna dig it out until we're already digging. We're gonna do that, and at the same time, we're gonna extend the, sewer line all the way to the other lot, so that it'll be there for later on, and clean the ditch out too.
Yeah, I don't know how much, how big is the property? I don't think there's any drainage thing to do. I don't think there's any surveys or anything we need done on it. Unless, Shane, unless I'm wrong, we don't need to do drainage or anything on that, do we?
No, we don't, not on this small. We might want to show how the water flows on that. Steve, is that something you can do for us?
And when we get to that point, Shane, I'll get with y'all and find out, how deep does that thing need to be.
Okay.
So you're talking about on the map you're talking about, Shane?
Yeah, you gotta show the elevation a little bit. Maybe we can show how the water would flow across the property to that back ditch.
Okay.
And then what's that?
Yeah, so you can get that for us for next week? Okay. That'll be fine.
And what that does to the sewer, we'll have issues right there. Well, concern.
Yeah, but it's not gonna drain in the sewer till we find, by the way, speaking of that, we are smoke testing this Thursday? This Thursday, that whole area. So hopefully we'll find a leak, be able to repair it, so the drainage, the water won't get in there, so. But it's such a shallow, as you know, it's so shallow there. Anyway, we can get that on the map. Maybe that'll help if we get that on the map for Monday night.
Yeah.
Shane?
And Blake, the sewer is gonna come actually to the front, that curve. There's a manhole right there. That's where it's put in.
So it's not gonna go to the one in front of Missy Lane?
That's correct.
Okay. Because that's the one we have problems with now.
No, it's gonna be the other way.
All right, any other questions on that?
Will there be any variances requested?
I don't think so. Until they come up with the plan for the house or whatever, we won't know.
This is good, yeah, this is subdivision.
Like as far as setbacks and all, when you build out, you don't have those plans yet, right? This is just.
No, we don't have the plans, but we know what the rules are, and we're gonna be, it's far
Okay.
enough back. Yeah, we don't have any issues with getting far enough back in the road.
All right, so we will have that on Monday night for our meeting. If you can get that map with the little,
I'll get it to Shane as soon as possible.
that'll work. All right, Finance Committee, review June bills. In the budget year, we got a bunch of bills in there. Questions on that, you guys can let us know.
Just back to the missing receipts. I noticed we had some again this month. Is that the same person? And I don't want to name, but I mean, that's a total, that's 5 for over a grant. I know last month we had some cheap and.
Yeah.
Next one.
We got, Chief, I don't know if you saw that today, the bills today have some too.
Yeah.
Those are Amazon, they returned. They sent.
I don't know, what I signed said no receipts, so
Yeah.
I just, we need to get those taken care of.
Exactly.
We should have those. We just get them reprinted on Amazon.
I think I saw one today with Walmart or something, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are.
I mean, just from an auditing standpoint, do we have something where, if I understand the receipts can be misplaced, this a little more than what we'd expect, but is there something that we would need? You know, to kind of like have, say, missing receipt and then it's signed by whomever, or,
Well, we normally cover all the receipts. We normally, very seldom, we have missing receipts.
In the rare occurrence that we can't find or reproduce one, we do write a letter explaining who purchased what, where, on what date and time, and have them sign it.
that, I think that's clean.
I think it's just more or less a lag that from the time from the time Patricia pays the bill to the time they get the receipt to her. So sometimes there's a lag that comes in there, but,
So it's not necessarily missing.
not necessarily.
Yeah.
That's not to say we have all of them, because I don't know which ones we have missing today. We have to go back and look.
From the list I was provided via email, we got all.
That's the ones that I sent out today? Okay, all right. So, we usually catch it, Blaine and I catch it in the office here, and then we go back and try to get them from the police department from there. But very seldom do we have no receipt.
A year or something, maybe it's not fun.
Yeah, we don't
Like
have any.
that.
Like I said, I think Patricia just pays the bills quickly, and
Yeah.
then the receipts come out.
One other question under sewer, I see we got almost 13,000 for the lagoon again, Owen and White.
That's the last one.
What did they do in May though? I mean, because the project completed, it wrapped up and there was just punch list items that apparently they haven't been adhering to.
I could get you a copy of the bill for me to quote it today. Shane, do you remember what that last bill was? I mean, I know it was sewer stuff, but I don't.
Yeah, a lot of inspections, a lot of getting paperwork done for WSP. We'd have to get an itemized.
Yeah, I mean, we have it.
Easily done, we can get it.
Yeah, we have it. I just don't-
This date is checked. Okay, so this could have been April and March.
And he usually runs about 30 days behind, doesn't he, on his billing, give or take a little bit?
Yeah, we'll just get them in this week or so for May.
So Blaine, if you
So
would.
this is April.
These two, just find out what months they're for.
Well, we'll get copies of it to you too. I can email them to you real quick. But as I mentioned in the meeting last time, we asked Toby about budget for water sector complete. He said 10,000 maximum, and that's if something really goes crazy toward the end. But we don't see spending any more on engineering for that. Amen. All right, let me make
It was for April, work that was done in April.
done in April. All right, April bill.
So they split the bill?
What's your question?
So it's April. One says sewer lagoon, the other says WSP sewer lagoon.
They're both the same. I'll get copies of those.
We can chase it.
Yeah, I'll get copies for them. Right. All right, any other questions on bill? All right. Next up, 2025, 2026 budget adjustments. If you look, we'll go ahead and start first with the budget adjustments for the town, not the sewer. As you can see, we had, some surplus stuff, vehicles, miscellaneous income. We had some grant income that came in from legislature. Interest income, as you can see, was down a bit. So we have to make that adjustment. Traffic fines were down a good chunk, and so was sales tax. So, our total income adjustment is the 314,100, and that's actually to the bad side, so that's our total income adjustment. Go down to expenses. I don't have to go through each one, just a couple of them. We did spend all our money on derelict buildings that we had budgeted, and we lowered that again for this coming budget year. Another large one, we're gonna roll that money over in expense for streets and drainage for our drainage project back on Eileen and Orleans quarters. Police department was high on overtime. And they didn't attend a lot of training, so we were down in training for the police department. That about covers anything major. Entergy did an audit of our streetlights, and I am battling them now. The first bill that came in from them, I don't think we have all those streetlights in town. So I'm working on that with Entergy. We have a new rep, so hopefully we can make some progress and try to figure out what is ours and what's not. They did give us about a $5,000 credit. Was it 2 months ago, Glenn?
Yeah, we can turn it to the light.
Yeah, and they kept charging us for the lights, so it's a constant battle with those guys right now. So our expense, adjustment is 24,800. And so our total budget adjustment is 289,300.
Is there any rationale for the sales tax, Mayor? Would you be privileged to that, or best guess, no?
This best guess, so I do reach out every year to revenue, try to get an idea. I reached out to Chance and Jason just recently about this budget year, and they said flat. That's what they budgeted, was flat. But, you know, if a ground chemical comes in, which is a really high front-loaded thing, I mean, it could go up by $1 million. So to answer your question, it's just a guess. And we kind of look back on prior years, but the prior years, we were running way high all the time. All of a sudden, flattened out the last 2 years. So I don't know if it's just business stuff that was going on, the plants and all this kind of settled down. I'm not sure what it is. We're waiting on sales tax now. We should get it before the 10th or 11th.
We just get it.
Really?
A Walmart or down.
And I do reach out. I reached out to revenue to try to get an idea. It's like under lock and key for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a tough number for us to adjust. I mean, to budget. Fortunately, we've been fortunate lately. I see like over the last 4 years, or minus, I guess, not this year and last year, but the previous years, we were always over on budget on sales tax. We're going to try to budget 2.1 million, which is what we got this year for next year. That's what we're looking at.
And there, so let me ask this, so we're gonna reduce our revenue, 314,000. That's gonna put us in, reduce our budget, 314,000. That's gonna put us within the 5% number, Blaine?
Yes. So we're working on the adjustment.
And then the expenses nets right at 24,000. That's gonna put all the expenses within 5%. Right? Yeah. Okay. So unless something blows up, we should be within the 5% error margin. It puts us in compliance with state law. Right? Okay.
Mayor, did you want to tell the council about the maintenance issue that just recently,
Yeah, we're going to budget that for next year.
next year?
Yeah. So we had an air conditioner go out at the police department.
They don't need that.
That's what I thought.
Did I say that out loud?
I don't know, like you did.
It was not that,
So we're going to try to budget that for next year. Since it's so close to the end of the budget year, they can probably end up getting the parts ordered and start working on it, and they'll bill us next budget year. But we're talking, what do you say, 10 grand?
It's 15, 10 to 15.
10 to 15 grand, so he's going to get us a price on that. But that'll be for next year. And look, these numbers can change. Let's say we get sales tax in early, and sales tax this month was huge, then that number will change on our budget adjustment.
Right. That's your best guess right now.
Right now, today.
We still have 2 payments of taxes, right? May and June.
Yeah, so we'll get paid. on that.
2 months.
So the sales tax, I agree. You get a check and you put it on the bank.
Oh, yeah.
You got no control whatsoever. Who they can go audit, all that stuff, that is how they control 100%.
Yep.
The one I do want to ask about is traffic fines. So we're decreasing our revenue from our budget by 200 grand, but on the other side, we pay a bunch of overtime. So I am no way, shape, or form, Mr. Newspaper Man, saying we need to write more tickets. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to ask is, when part of our budget is based on estimates. All of our budget is based on estimates. We can look at a track record of what we have done, and it seems like historically we come in higher than that. So I'm just trying to find out the correlation between a significant decrease in revenue and higher salary costs.
we had a calls pretty much doubled this year. So that gave us less time to do proactive patrol and write tickets and such, and traffic reporting. So that's really bad lengthy calls, you had tied us up with that.
Barrett Prison has also been full, so for the last 2 years, we can't put people in jail on traffic warrants. They don't have the space and won't accept them. So we have completely lost that stream of revenue. All we can do is write another ticket for the ticket they have. When we catch somebody with a traffic warrant for us, we issue them another ticket in which they don't pay.
So your hands got, our hands got tied on minor misdemeanors like that.
Okay, so you're down 200 grand on traffic fines, down 200 grand on sales tax. That's our best guess right now. So that's 400. We did pick up $75,000 in grant income, which we usually don't budget grant income because you don't know if you're gonna get it or not. So we made 75,000. So that basically nets to the 314. So I never like to accept the lower number on revenues, but I want to understand why. And there's a good many expenses in here. You have some up, some down, but I gotta say, to only adjust expenses by 23,000 out of the size budget we have, that is tremendous. Not a tremendous amount, tremendously good job on budget. So the net budget adjustment of only 290,000 is certainly acceptable. Of course, we would like to do a little bit better, but I'm pretty happy with the way this budget adjustment has worked out. Although I do have some angst on the sales tax. I mean, again, when I was on the parish council, I think almost every year, we had higher revenue than we had budgeted. Because I used to always think they held back on our budgets. But as I can see here, assuming these numbers end up that way, I can see here that maybe this is one of the first years that had.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Yeah, and that's Patricia's estimate right now. Like I said, we could get a big windfall check from May. That could change a little bit, but hasn't been as lucrative as it's been in the year before.
And I do want to ask on the reasons on the second expense down, insurance group health. It says refund expected. Can I ask what that means?
Yeah, so, we get workman's comp through, who? LWCC, right? Yeah.
I think you know that one, as we had one employee who left right at the paid for it.
Oh, is that the one it is? That's not the workman's comp refund we get? All right,
So
so,
one employee who left right whenever we were doing
So you're talking about like a 1 month premium on one person. So
Yeah.
that's not a tremendous amount.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
all right. Any other questions on adjustments? That could change between now and next Monday, but we'll have that on Monday's meeting. All right, sewer adjustments. Is Patricia on, we might need her to help with this, but I think we can work through it. So this is kind of crazy because all the adjustments we were told by the auditor to not budget for the WSP grant revenue and ARPA funds, to only do a budget adjustment when we use it. So that's why you see the large budget adjustment on income, ARPA, and grant revenue. As the grant revenue came from the state, we would take it and pay off whatever payouts we had outstanding. And we also use some of our ARPA money for match money. So the auditor told us do not, to show that income, go ahead and do what we did, but then show it on budget adjustments. So that's where you see the grant expenses of $753,919. And I'm assuming that should total up very similar to ARPA and grant revenue at the top.
It's about $50,000.
Okay. So that's the way we were told to account for our grant revenue coming in from the state. And that's the way we did it last year, and we got, our audit was fine. So we should. If you noticed under expense, under repairs and maintenance, we were a little high on utilities. And I think that's gonna be a thing going forward, right, Shane? All the areas we got back there draw a lot of power So
Correct.
we're gonna make the adjustments in the sewer for next year for those utilities that we expect to be high. As you see, sewer engineering fees were much higher than what we expected, which, you know, we knew that going in. Unfortunately, we had to pay those sewer fees out of we couldn't use ARPA money. Total income adjustment is 720,057.07. Total expense adjustment is 814,919.60. Total budget adjustments 94,862. That'll get us in the 5%, I think, right, Blaine? Should get us in the 5%, and so we should be good to go on the sewer budget. That's extremely high numbers for our sewer budget, and normally nowhere around that. It's all due to the project we got.
You got $750 million. Budget, we didn't budget for.
Right, right.
And that makes sense.
Yep.
I think that's the right way to do it. That way you can put good numbers. You're guessing at the beginning of the year.
Right, because you don't know how much you're gonna complete, right? Any questions on that?
No.
All right, that probably won't change, but if it does, it'll be minor, but we will have that again for our budget. Next up, discuss 26-27 budget. All right. Let's do sewer first.
Yeah.
So sewer kind of is what sewer is.
What was that again?
I mean, we get sewer user fees and we get a little interest and then we spend the money, right? There's a big depreciation contingency in there, that we have to do based on our audit recommendation. It's an expense. If you look at salaries, you see where it says maintenance sewer split. So we take a portion of the salaries for our maintenance department and charge it to our sewer budget. So that's what you see down there on the salaries under expense. We do expect to get the LGAP grant, which is hopefully 35, but we don't know, right, Shane? And but we're not going to use the LGAP here. We're going to use it for drainage.
That's correct.
So it's not going to be in this one. That's why you see it's going to be zero. We've always used it for sewer, but we're going to roll it over to drainage this year. Everything else is pretty basic on this, our annual budget.
Mayor, I do have a question. You mentioned back on the sewer adjustments, the repairs and maintenance, utilities are bigger than that, 137 number? The yellow, big one?
Yep.
Okay, then you said next year we're gonna bump that up, but the 122 is the same as it was budgeted for this year.
I'm not sure where our utilities are. We include utilities in that? Yep, it's in there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You said you were gonna bump up.
We worked, I think, Shane, didn't we bump that utilities piece up?
Yes, we did. Patricia actually made the adjustment. She averaged everything out and came up with the number.
I'll tell you what I can do. I can get you the itemized list. It shows what budget was for expenses for utilities last year versus this year in sewer.
Okay, and maybe some other expense went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
122,750 is so close to 122,250.
Right.
I just want to make sure you're increasing utilities.
Yep, we have
Where
operating.
it's coming from.
I'll check and make sure, but something else must have gone down in there saying, I don't have the spreadsheet.
I can't recall, but I can find out. We can get it up.
Got supplies on that. The old pond versus the new system.
I'll get the breakout of that repairs and maintenance, and I'll get it to everybody, show them where that is.
And then the other question I want to ask, and I hate hogging up all the questions, the sewer, the depreciation expense, 117,585, that number comes from the audit.
Yes.
There's no questions about that, we just book what they say. But the 88 is down a good bit. Is that number from them also?
Yes.
See the 88 that we're
Yes.
doing for this next
She
year?
gives a schedule of the 24, 25. Like the next one.
But my only point in that is you fixing to add a big bulk of water sewer project, WSP money that they may not have in it. You know, check with her to
Yeah.
have a first full year, it's operational now. we should make sure that that number's correct. And I can't see it going down that much, putting in a new plant.
Yeah, just fire.
I will check with her, yeah, we'll check with her and get a new number on that. She does, definitely knows we're getting a new plant, now whether she realizes it's fully operational or not. I'm not sure.
Scott,
Yes, sir?
getting back to that repairs and maintenance, I think that includes that L gap coming out. Not projected this year.
There you go.
It would have been closer to 160.
There, because we get 35,000 from L gap. And that's normally what L gap is, see right there? So that might be the offset. Yes, I'll find out, make sure. That sounds right.
I just want to check.
Yeah, you take 35 off of that, put you at 102, and then we bump it back up to 122.
Yeah, so I got usually on that line.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. We'll make sure of that, though. I'll get with you on it. All right, so that'll be our budget for sewer for 26, 27. I'll get answers to those couple questions before the meeting next week. Next up, town general fund. As I mentioned, we're looking at sales tax to budget 2.1 million for sales tax. Talked to chief, tried to come up with a number, it's everything on his traffic fines, and we made that number at 500,000. Everything else is pretty similar. Interest income's going down a bit. We spent some money and rates have gone down a bit, so. And then if you notice this LGAP drainage project is in this instead of sewer. I think we're gonna get that police grant too, right? Yeah, so we should get that police grant. So it'll be another 25,000 in there.
Oh, that one, yeah, forget it.
We're looking at two others. as well.
Yeah, the two more.
And we can adjust for those as we go.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions or concerns on income, let me know. I mean, think we should change something on any item, please let me know and let's discuss it. All right, we'll go in order here. Police department. First group salaries and travel allowance is going down a bit. Police benefits down a bit. I think y'all were real low in training next year, but 28 grants, right? That's a good number.
Yeah.
Supplies is down. And we do have a unit in there with a new unit for this year.
We're gonna push it back far as we can, and
Okay.
hopefully we might not need it, but just put it in there just in case.
Okay.
So when you say down a bit, not from the original budget, but what was spent. What you're saying.
That's correct. That's where we show it as actually spent from, or estimated to be actually spent. The year's not over yet. All right, any questions on police? Like I said, this is working, so we can change this periodically. All up until next Monday. All right, I think, did we send a worksheet on salaries, chief?
Sir?
Did we send a worksheet? Did you guys get a worksheet
Yes.
on salaries?
Yes.
Yeah, should have been on the email.
It was with the budget.
Yeah.
Not the budget adjustments, but it was with the budget.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, I think I sent a worksheet on salaries for maintenance and, administration. Yeah, we did everybody. I can speak for maintenance and for administration. The increase was, my proposed increase is 4% across the board, except for one person in maintenance that's kind of low, and 6% for that person. Did the police do 4?
Yes.
Right,
And one person with nothing.
yeah, and Shane's salary stays the same, so, those are the numbers that I'm proposing. And it's across the board kind of, increase for maintenance.
Can I ask you what percentage split do you foresee?
Cool, man. You mean as far as for sewer and us?
Oh,
For like salaries, 80-20 or?
I would say 80-20, maybe on one person is 70/30.
Yeah, probably Eric is a little higher, right?
Yeah.
So he does most of the sewer stuff?
Okay. All right.
Under maintenance, pretty much status quo. As you see, maintenance expense, streets and drainage, that's our big money on our drainage project. We're gonna try to get a lot of drainage done this year. The engineering part's mostly done, so it's all about physical work now.
So let me kind of stock it up to there, based on salaries and expense maintenance. So we're up 16,000 there. What is that for?
So, supplies and expense, you mean?
Yes, sir. Did you just say that? I'm sorry.
No, we're up, so we budgeted 93,000 last year, we're only at 58.
Oh, I see.
We lowered some stuff on derelict buildings, some shop supply stuff.
I got you. I was looking at what we spent at
Yeah,
58.
yeah, so we didn't want to go all the way up to 93, so we were down about 74.
Got you. And then on training, maintenance. So we're going to 23,000.
Yeah, that should-
Is that correct? Was that a typo?
I don't think that's correct, huh, Shane? No, that should be 1900.
Boy, there's a lot of places I can go.
That's not correct. Is Patricia there?
But if you're gonna go to all those conferences, you're gonna go on the line above it. With a rotary cutter, get a drive a bush hog.
Yeah, that 23,000 is out there. 1,900 is what I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah, that's zero fun on.
Okay, so that's gonna definitely adjust on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No.
I want to ask you on the maintenance equipment purchases, so we had budgeted 79, but you're down to 8. Is that the only thing you're requesting?
We had just bought a brand new vehicle, at right about 50 grand, and an ATV. Our
The
fleet,
79 number?
that was 79. Our fleet is in good shape as far as maintenance.
We need to know one thing.
That's it. That's all I need.
Okay, and look, we talked long and hard about that because we just repaired a tractor. It cost a lot. Remember, we had to,
Yep.
all the trucks we have are relatively new. When I say relatively new, 4 years probably.
Mine is 5 years, 2 years, and 1 year.
Yeah, so we went over everything that we needed. I mean, unless something really just explodes, I don't think we're gonna need anything major.
We're in good shape, equipment wise.
Did Patricia say anything about that?
Here's a typo. I fixed it.
Okay, 23. All right.
We're good, right?
So that brings us down to 758, 582 if you want to make that change.
Cancun is out.
How about the decal for the town vehicles? Are they identified any kind of way?
Today,
I
no,
don't see that in there.
Not on my 3 days.
on the three, the trucks,
Tractor sale.
tractors have them, the trucks don't. That's something we could pick up, and put them on it. We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that this budget year. Yeah, we got to make some.
Do them right though.
Yeah.
I don't want to do them tacky.
Yeah, we'll get them.
You don't look like a police officer.
We'll get that done.
Look at.
Sure. All right, next up, any other questions on maintenance? We usually do pretty well on maintenance. Shane runs a tight ship. I tell him he needs to do more, but he's tight. I appreciate that, Shane. One other thing on maintenance I wanted to say. So, building maintenance, police, town hall, generators. We had a breaker go out on our generator back here. Right now, we have to manually turn it on if power goes out. So we have to buy this new switch thing.
ATS.
Yeah. So, so once, and that's, how much is that, Shane?
14 grand installed.
Right, 14 grand installed. So, we're gonna do it now and pay for it next month because we want to be ready for hurricane season in case that happens. But also that line item may go up a bit based on the air conditioning police department. Right, Shane, isn't that where we put that AC?
That's right.
So we may see that number go up due to what happened at the police
Is that in labor or in materials?
Yeah, that seems.
That thing's high,
What's our generator?
especially if you had it in place, huh? You
It's
said you had
100 kW, it's the whole cabinet. Breaker and automatic transfer switch all in one cabinet.
and all of that failed?
The whole thing, yeah, it got water and condensation in it and messed it all up. We had to replace the whole cabinet.
25 kW, I think it was like 1,500. I think. That's the generator.
I had one company, United Rental, that said, you know, my person that I depend on, he said, give them to do it, that's a good price.
Yeah.
'Cause we do them all the time.
So that number may go up based on the air conditioning unit in the police department. Yeah, so much for the 23, we found the typo. All right, we'll move over to administration. So, as you probably know, and I don't know if this is public information, we're gonna make it public tonight, right, Shane? Last meeting. So, we were talking about salaries and trying to budget that line item across the board because we have two people retiring this year, and they're on the higher end. So we figured that we'd bring on the new people a couple months early. Those people would roll off, and we think it'll balance out. So we're not going to make any adjustments to that as far as trying to figure out where we stand and make it exactly right. We can just do a budget adjustment next year if it works out. If that person comes in way low, both people come in way low, and we can be low on retirement and everything else that goes along with it. So we're just going to let it stay status quo until all the transition takes place, and then we'll make adjustments. I don't see any big glaring changes.
I just think you dropped the overlay of 50, huh?
Yeah. That's mainly due to sales tax revenue, guys. We had a budget meeting with Chief and Shane and myself, Tricia and Blaine, and when we realized that we were so short on sales tax, we just, that number down at the bottom, that negative 532,
Yeah, it wasn't 80.
Yeah.
That was over.
right, and so,
This isn't, but yeah, it's more, a little more power.
so we pretty much did what we could. We were looking at a new accounting software for the town. We have some old software. We pulled that out. There's a lot of things we pulled out of there. Cost of things is just going up a little bit, so.
And then 14.4 on the special projects.
14.4.
It's 14, it's about 14,000 difference there. Went from 16.9 to 31.3, is that correct? Special projects miscellaneous.
Yeah, so we have 125th celebration in the town coming up. What is it, we put 10 grand in there for that? That's coming up in October. So it's 10,000 in there, we do our Veterans Day, the tree lighting. And keep West Baton Rouge beautiful is a big check too. But, I know 10 grand of that is going to the 125th celebration. And we have the 2 grand in there to go to CASA. I don't think Tree City's a whole lot. That might be a little bit high. I need to look at that line item. Is that right? That 31.3 might be a little high. Yeah, Tree City's not big. Pete West Baton is beautiful, big. I think like 12 grand in there. Yeah. And then, but I think the 10 grand we put in there for the 125th, along with our Christmas celebration, Veterans Day. I'll get a breakdown of that for you guys also. What's that line? Special project miscellaneous.
Can I ask how admin telephones is going from 36 to 30? How's it going down there?
We merged from our telephones with our internet, so we don't have our phone anymore. Internet-based phones.
You happy with it?
They were working really good. We had lots of outages in previous, like literally, the phones wouldn't even ring and we didn't know because they weren't working.
Yeah, and police department wasn't ringing either, they were going straight to,
Now, that's how we would know they were going straight to 911. They were like, hey, your phones aren't working. Now, ever since we switched, our phones are always up no matter what. If something happens here, it'll start cell phones.
and it's cheaper.
It's cheap.
I wanted to ask about postage, going from 3,400 to 3,000. I just got a thing at work saying postage going up again next month.
So we have been using less postage here recently with technology. Mainly, we use a lot of postage on traffic ticket violations whenever we have to change things or send letters. And now we collect cell phone numbers and we send them text messages updates. Our prices went down.
But there again, we were looking every which way to loose where we could find some extra cash. It's like,
And the last one on the decor, Mayor,
yep,
the budget 19 spent 13, we want to go back to 17. Whoever do the 13, why do we need to go back up? What are we changing there?
Shane, what do we get for hanging and,
Last year, we got it all hung for $9,000. This year, I got a different guy who's gonna do all of the electrical and hanging. But I budgeted 12, he said he's gonna be around 10, but I'm just anticipating.
Yeah.
Some problems with electrical with all the wind and
so what happens to, we get some of that electrical bills from a different electric company, because they have to go back and fix it.
Right.
So like we may use a Sun Electric, or who is it? GIS now, whoever.
Right.
To come work on the electrical part. So when you put the two together, there may be a bill of, last year we had to spend, $2,000 replacing solar, what do you call the little things? The little solar.
Yeah, little
items.
timer solar, yeah.
Yeah, or rewiring something. But I think we'll be down below that. And, decorations, we're not buying decorations this year, so we're gonna leave that status quo. We may have to repair some, but we're not gonna buy any decorations this year.
Also, under the special projects miscellaneous, one reason why it went up, the Christmas tree lighting ceremony used to be under supplies, which isn't really supplies, it's more of a special project. So change category, sorry, made it category.
So you reclassify it. There's what, 4 grand in there for that?
They're usually 4 or 5.
Yeah. And of course, we don't know what we're gonna do for the 125th. You know, I know that we have a time capsule open. That may only come back as 3 or 4 grand depending on what we do. So that's kind of what we just put 10 grand on that. All right, anybody else have any questions? We got all week to decipher all the numbers and sleep on it. We'll talk about it next
I'd
week.
just like to say, I know that budgets are a lot of work, so Blaine, you and your staff, and Mayor, and all the department heads that y'all work with, I certainly, we certainly appreciate it, because we don't dig into these numbers like y'all do, so we appreciate the work that you do to get us there. I do want to make a general comment that this still shows us our expenses are over our revenues by 532,000. We changed it, that's right, it's 512. So that's $500,000. That's still a lot of money. We do have a beginning fund balance of almost 3.2 million. So if I'm trying to look at this objectively, if we're backing up or decreasing by 500,000, and we're starting with 3.2 million, and everything else is going to stay the same for the next 7 years, you basically could ride this wave at this rate for 6 years. Okay? And that is a tremendous ability for us to have that much fund balance going forward. There's a lot of towns in the state of Louisiana that they're upside down right now, and they're close to being taken over by the parish. In other words, the town just disbanding, and the parish has to take over all the pieces. So I'm glad that we're in good shape, but it does concern me that that number keeps growing at a certain rate. We're gonna have to take a look. Maybe sales tax will come around, maybe some other things will shake out, but to go in at 532 is a pretty hard look. And I think we've looked at this budget But my point being, a year from now, when we're here looking at the next budget, depending on what happens in the year that we're fixing to go into, I don't know if I can continue to support losing $500,000 a year. I'm glad we have the cushion we have. There's been a lot of years where we had tremendous sales tax numbers. Scott, 1,000% correct, if that's possible. Let's say 100% correct. If somebody like Ron would come, that could change in 2 or 3 months. But we've been hearing they've been coming for 10 years. They're not here. So I don't want to, I want to look at that money as just laying out if it comes. That we can't build our budget and be predicated on something that might happen. We need to be steadfast stewards of the money that we have and that we're pretty certain that's going to happen. So my warning is this: if we continue to go down this road, next year's budget may not look as good as this from what I'm looking at and what I would think we should do. So again, I'm just one guy, 1 out of 5. But I'm just saying, I'm glad we got that big fat cushion coming in,
That
but
helps.
let's not just lay on that.
I'll tell you, this, in all my time doing this, this is probably the most challenging one we've had. I'm like, I mean, it just all hit at once. And I really think the water sector project with the engineering fees that we paid to him hurt us really bad this year. So once all that settles down, which it will, probably in the next month, hopefully next year or even out a lot, and we can come back with a balanced budget without having to tap any kind of surplus.
But it's kind of the water sector money is in the sewer.
Right, but we, a lot of the money that we spent on engineering fees, I'm sure came out.
In this one?
Yeah, we pulled some money out of the engineering to pay for the, for towing, so.
If you don't mind, can we take a look and see what I've been having?
Yep, I'll find out.
Just want to get an idea of
Yep.
what it's not reoccurring.
Yep, I'll find out.
But some budgets are hard to split up between regular expenses that you expect to happen all the time and the one-time non-reoccurring money that can destroy a budget. But again, I just want to have an idea of what we're talking about. I will get that.
So, yeah, like I said, this was a very challenging budget this year. We've been fortunate. We really hadn't had to do this except for the last couple of years. I'm like you, I'm ready for it to stop.
Yeah.
I don't wanna bet on sales tax going up because we don't know. So, we're gonna keep our belt tight as we always try to do, but we're gonna really try to keep it tight down.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on that? All right, so
It's okay if you don't ask the questions. Yeah, right.
So we'll have all this on the agenda for Monday night. During the week, if you have any questions or if we have any major changes that pop in, I will email you guys and let you know individually what's going on and what we had to change. It'd be nice to get a sales tax check to where we can kind of bring that number around, get that budget adjustment a little bit better, so. All right, so we'll move off finance to personnel. I'm not aware of anything, recreation, nothing, police committee.
We've got 2 personnel issues.
So you want to add personnel to the agenda? You want to put it on the police?
No, personnel.
No. Yeah, we'll put police,
Is one.
we'll put police on the personnel.
Ah.
Government affairs, not aware of anything, other matters, nothing. Mayor report, one thing I didn't mention was, grass cut's a high priority. We're trying to get it around the rain. We did get one worker from Lighthouse. That worker's doing well, Lansing.
Excellent,
They show up,
excellent.
drop them off, and then they pick them up, so it's working out like a champ. We may go to, we may end up moving some of our, we have a collection agency that does some of our old ticket stuff that hadn't been paid. But the Office of Debt Recovery, but the state does that also. We may send some really old stuff to the Office of Debt Recovery. I think, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, the way it works is if someone's getting a refund but owes the town of Brusly for tickets, that they will withhold it from their tax refund, right?
Well, that is one branch of it, but they will get to the point where they actually go in and seize your bank accounts, seize what you have saved, much like the IRS. You get 3 letters warning you to either pay or make arrangements to pay, and then they take it.
Yeah, and that costs the town nothing.
Costs the town nothing. The interest rate to the offender is actually lower too than AMS because it's set by legislation, so they try to not allow it to be priced gouging. And I think last year they brought in just over $13 million to different municipalities.
So we have a lot of old stuff that's hanging around out there that we might be able to get some stuff from them.
Like go back into the not being able to book people for warrants. In the last probably 3 years, we've gone from maybe 1,500 warrants sitting in our file cabinet to close to 10,000. We can't arrest them and they're not gonna clear them up. This gives us revenue for happening. There's a lot in their license.
Yeah, a lot of towns are doing that, so we might roll over some stuff to Office of Debt Recovery for our folks. So, and of course, the AC is out at PPD, we talked about that. Remarks of personal privilege, anybody? No? I don't know of any announcements other than thank you guys for all being here and thanks council for the help on the budget. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Mr. Tossan, second by Mr. Schutz. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Meeting.